Hello, Dan Joss. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So, we are approaching the tax deadline. It's coming up. It's not imminent, but it's close enough to imminent.
It's close.
Yes. And people have been making some IRA contributions, thinking about IRA contributions, maybe not even thinking about it. Maybe it's nowhere on the horizon. But I bet it's on your mind, and you can tell us a little bit about deductibility of IRA contributions, I bet.
I can.
Well, let's do that.
Sure. The traditional IRA, that's the IRA where you may be allowed to deduct that contribution amount from your income and not pay tax on your income, on that amount of income. And so that's a way to save for your future after you're 60 and save a little bit on your taxes this year. Now, the idea behind that is I'm in a high tax bracket while I'm working, so I contribute and I don't pay tax on that $6,000 contribution amount. And when I'm retired later in life, I'm in a lower tax bracket. So when I take out that $6,000 plus the earnings, I pay a lower tax.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I've never heard it explained so simply and clearly.
But it may not actually happen in real life.
It may not.
Because they may change the tax rates.
Right.
You may not earn less in retirement because we have things like Social Security income and IRA distributions that add to ordinary income.
Okay. So it might not work at all.
So it might not work as designed, but the option is there.
Okay.
And for some, we have the Roth account. If you earn less than $140,000 or $200,000, depending if you're single or married, you can make a Roth contribution, which doesn't lower your current income tax. But when you draw that money out in retirement, it's tax-free.
Okay.
And so if you're not sure if you're going to be in a higher or lower tax bracket now or at retirement, and depending on how much you earn, you may decide either the Roth or the traditional IRA is better for you.
And certainly there can be some financial advice from somebody like you or their CPA.
Sure.
And
financial planners, investment advisors, tax preparers, CPAs.
Right.
They have the rules. The rules change every year.
Imagine that. The government changes the rules in the middle of the game.
And so take a look at the rules and don't just assume what happened last year or 5 years ago when you made your IRA contribution and deducted it, that it saved you interest. Don't assume that that is saving you taxes today. Just take the time to really see what it does for you and then decide which is the best route to take.
Right. It seems like a good plan. I mean, after all, it is only money and taxes and debt. So paying attention to that and reading the rules is maybe a good idea.
And I prefer to have someone else read the rules.
Okay.
So even I talk with my tax preparer about these.
Good.
Because as I think we've talked about 2 or 3 different types of IRA accounts, and there's many more out there, but yeah, it's worth to have the conversation with a professional.
Okay. Well, good.
And save early, save often, be generous.
Yeah.
Give early, give often.
All that makes good sense. It works for your future self, not just for your future, but you've said it, your future self, which I think is really important because the future is a place in time. But if you're saving and making financial decisions for your future self, that brings it down to a much more personal relationship.
Yeah, our future self will thank us for wise decisions we make in our present self.
That's good.
When I wore a younger man's clothes, isn't that a song?
I think so. Yes. Yes. But you are stylish anyway. Yes. All right. So, Dan Joss, if somebody needs to get in touch with you to talk about this or one of the other topics, what's the best way for them to do that?
Then give us a call. We use the phone in our office.
Okay.
757-903-2127.
Do you also use the website?
Yeah, you can see a little bit about our company at jossbrown.com.
Excellent. Well, we thank you so much for being here on Money Talks.
Thank you.
Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.